Hello, welcome to How to Survive. This week, Paranormal Activity 5, also known as Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. Now, in this movie, they broke the formula of Paranormal Activity, didn't they? Because traditionally, they'd have static cameras monitoring empty rooms for any paranormal activity. But in this one, they have wandering cameras. So I thought it would be interesting, Chris, if we had wandering mics to make it a bit more interesting. I'm just going to unscrew my mic from the stand. And we could just move around. Yeah. I've got my mic loose now.
Yeah. Because why bother? Like, there's no reason to sort of carry on the traditions that have served cinema for so long. And why not do the same thing with podcasting, Joe?
No. The thing is, people have come to expect static microphones. Yeah. And it's crap. It's not at all what we want to be doing. This is a much more enjoyable experience. It's interesting. It's unexpected. It makes a much more immersive experience. It really puts you in action, doesn't it? Because the thing is, mate, it's a lot better when you do it like this. It's because it's better, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, mate. So, on with the show.
Hello and welcome to episode 140 of the How to Survive podcast. My name is Chris.
My name is Chris.
My name is Chris, and joining me as ever is my good friend Joe.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well. It's episode 140, Joe, and as you know, every 10 weeks, it's our duty, our solemn vow, to tackle one of the Paranormal Activity movies. Yeah. This is the fifth one in the franchise, and it marks a little detour from the main plot. You might remember it was Christy and Katie and
their various escapades.
Yeah, and Toby and all of those great guys. Yeah. But unfortunately, this one's a spin-off, Joe. So
it's not.
There's definitely going to be no references to the previous films in the Paranormal Activity franchise. It's not going to be related.
Is this the one where they said they wanted to do a new setting to prove it could happen to anyone?
Exactly. Yeah. That's right. So if you haven't seen Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, it's available.
And why would you?
Yeah, it's available in the UK on Netflix to stream. And wherever else you get films, you know where to find them. As is our tradition on How to Survive, we'll be spoiling the film Rotten. Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, this is your last chance to duck out before the spoilers flood in.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happens, roughly speaking, right? Yeah. This is a little synopsis.
Okay.
Nothing happens, then preposterous things happen, and then you lose the will to live when there's a revelation at the end. That's basically Paranormal Activity, isn't it?
Yeah. And if that didn't make you want to watch the film, then maybe this trailer will.
Why do you have a bat in the back seat?
In this hood, you never know.
Hi, what are you doing? You got a camera.
Please, inside now. Did someone die?
I saw myself. The lady who got killed, she lives right under me.
I had an idea. Let's go check downstairs.
Holy, there's blood everywhere.
Katie and Christy.
What is this? This is some black magic stuff.
Hey.
She's got pictures of you. How does she have pictures of you?
Dude, I had craziest dreams. Check it out.
What is it?
It looks like a bite or something. I've been getting this weird feeling.
Have you guys ever felt like something's watching you?
You got change?
Yeah, I got changed.
Careful, don't point the camera at them.
What's up? What's up, man?
Hey, back there! Hey, man, give me my back! Stop it! Stop! Jesse, get up, dog! What's that, man?
How did you do that?
Jesse graduates high school in the summer of 2012 alongside his friends Marisol and Hector. Jesse lives with his sister, father and grandmother in an apartment complex in California above a woman named Anna, who locals believe is a witch because of strange noises coming from her apartment and newspaper covering the windows.
That is a sure sign of a witch, isn't it?
Yeah. One night, Jesse and Hector see their classmate Oscar fleeing from Anna's flat and later discover that Anna has been murdered. They explore her apartment and find VHS tapes and a journal of spells which can open a doorway to unholy lands.
Great.
After Jesse, Hector and Marisol try one of the rituals, strange occurrences begin to take place in Jesse's apartment, and the trio are apparently able to communicate with some kind of presence. One morning, Jesse wakes up to find a bite mark on his arm and soon displays superhuman abilities when he knocks out 2 thugs that assault him.
Yep, that's good, because he did it.
Yeah. Following a party, Jesse and Hector take 2 girls back to Anna's apartment to have sex, but encounter Oscar, who has a similar bite mark to Jesse and oily black eyes. Oscar tells Jesse that it won't be long before something inside them takes over, and if they don't kill themselves, they will end up hurting someone they love. Oscar runs outside and then commits suicide by leaping from a church roof.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I thought...
He just leapt up in the air or something.
Yeah, basically.
No, I believe it's... it's implied at least that he leaps from the roof. That's the sensible
I thought
explanation.
perhaps he'd been thrown in the air by
Well,
a
maybe
presence.
that's it, but we can't necessarily confirm nor deny that. The group discover a secret trapdoor in Anna's apartment where they find a witch's altar and photos of Jesse, his pregnant mother, and Anna. Jesse is lured to the trapdoor one night after hearing his dog barking for help, but the door slams shut and Jesse sees the ghostly figures of young Katie and Christy before being attacked by a roaring demon. Soon afterwards, Jesse becomes withdrawn, angry, and violent. All of the hallmarks of a possession. Hector and Marisol seek the help of Arturo, Oscar's brother, who tells them Oscar was obsessed with researching a cult called the Midwives that would mark young men for possession, hoping to create an army. Oscar had been in touch with Ali, the survivor of Paranormal Activity 2, who confirms this information to Hector and Marisol and gives them an address for a final ritual.
Yeah, this is turning into a bit of a greatest hits reunion.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but a reunion where I was about to say none of the people who have gone on to greater things appear. No one has gone on to greater things.
Wait, you mean Paranormal Activity, the ghost dimension, isn't greater things?
Well, I don't know, mate. We haven't seen it yet. Jesse's grandmother attempts a ritual to cleanse him of the evil spirit, but Jesse reacts violently and destroys the apartment. The next morning, he pushes his grandmother down the stairs and disappears. On their way to the hospital, Oscar and Marisol are attacked by Jesse, who is then kidnapped by the midwives. Oscar and Marisol enlist Arturo and go to the location of the ritual, which is revealed to be the grandmother's house from Paranormal Activity 3.
Yeah, it's worth noting Arturo is a member of a gang.
Yeah.
And has assault rifles and shotguns and things.
Yeah.
For some reason.
It's they're all Latin American descent.
Yeah. Hispanic, I guess you'd say.
Hispanic, yeah. And yet, while it's good to have diversity in films like these, I feel that they all fall into a broad range of stereotypes.
Yes. But none of them particularly. I mean, there's stereotypes, but they're not like committed. There's no commitment to them.
No.
Yeah.
At the house, they are attacked by the midwives who kill Arturo and Marisol. Hector locks himself in a room with a strange door covered in symbols. With a demonic Jesse breaking his way into the room, Hector runs through the door and emerges in a strange house. It becomes apparent to us, the audience, that this is Katie and Mika's house from Paranormal Activity on the night of October 8th, 2006. Hector has travelled through space and time to an unholy land. Katie comes downstairs and suddenly starts screaming hysterically. When Mika runs downstairs to help, Katie stabs him repeatedly. Hector tries to flee back through the door, but is attacked and presumably killed off-screen by the demonic Jesse. Katie turns off the camera. The end.
good stuff, isn't it? Because I was thinking throughout, how does this tie into what I already know and love from Paranormal Activity 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah.
And I'm glad to say it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
The rich tapestry, the Bayo tapestry of Paranormal Activity 1, 2, 3, and 4 has had a new patch added to it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that, not only is it an addition, but it's a self-referential loophole.
Yeah. A horror movie franchise is really getting into its stride when it introduces time travel into the mix.
So,
is it any good, Joe?
Well, no.
Absolutely not, is it? Of course it isn't good.
I've made notes, but
okay.
I think the recap you just gave, if people haven't made their mind up, just turn off. Really.
So the film follows sort of 3 Hispanic teenagers. Mm-hmm. One of them gets cursed or has always been cursed.
It seems he was cursed while he was still in his mother's womb.
Yeah, by the midwives.
The witches who we've seen in previous films.
Yeah, they finally have a name. As the son of a midwife, how does that make you feel?
My mother didn't die in childbirth, so I don't think she's one of these midwives.
No, but I think she could be a member of the cult, right?
So she could have marked other women to give birth to possessed children.
Yeah.
Can't say for sure whether that's an NHS service.
Yeah. What do you think the worst bit of the film is? Let me give you a rundown of my...
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Was it the early point where a character rides down a flight of stairs in a laundry basket?
That is boring more than bad.
Was it the bit where a girl repeatedly asks a boy to fuck the shit out of her?
Did she say that?
Yeah, twice.
That's male gaze.
Was
stuff.
it the parts of the film where Jesse begins developing sort of superpowers, like super strength, the ability to do a really sick ollie on his skateboard?
He jumps over someone on his skateboard.
Yeah.
And that's basically a sight. It's basically Spider-Man 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he gets infected by Venom.
And also gives him the ability to fall over but be caught by an invisible force.
Yep, that's it.
Was it the bit where Ali from Paranormal Activity showed up?
That was pretty wretched.
What about her line when asked why the midwives wait until the boys are 18? She says, "You ready? 666. What does it add up to?
18, yeah. I did see that. She wrote it down, didn't she, and turned the paper on. It's what I don't like about it is that it's Deus Ex fan service, isn't it?
Yeah,
right. So the assumption the filmmakers probably had is, a great person to have come along now would be a character who's been affected by it in the past to explain what's going on.
Yeah.
The problem is that's not compelling storytelling.
No,
because the characters aren't working it out, are they?
No,
they're just being told it.
We say repeatedly that the worst sorts of horror films will have that dusty book moment,
which she literally brings with her.
Yeah, she brings an actual dusty book with her, showing off all of like the old engravings.
Yeah, but another problem is she becomes a way of like just solving any plot holes by not even being in it. So there's a scene later on where they say, "Oh, I think Jesse's been taken to a particular house. Oh, I think it's the house the midwives have been using because
it's the address that Ali gave us.
Yeah, we're off camera, completely not mentioned. That's the ridiculous thing. Is like you can say, "Oh, why are we doing this? Ali told us to do it. Well, show us that at least."
Yeah.
Show don't tell is the first.
Yeah, well, we see her giving them an address for the final ritual, basically, and really. I mean, it's when it's revealed to be the house from Paranormal Activity 3, the grandmother's house. it's sort of a less of a surprise as a sort of like.
Yep. All right. Is basically it.
Yeah, I mean, there's several low points as I've alluded to. I think this is the one where they finally gave up the conceit of it being found footage. They don't even have like the nights, that they have all the way through the other films.
Yeah. It is still found footage though, because it's annoyingly shot on a.
Yeah.
But the problem is, right, they clearly wanted to break the norms of the previous Paranormal Activity and do something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a suggestion. In earlier ones, they'll do something like put a camera on a desk fan, so it's oscillating. So you get, which is an interesting thing to do for one scene.
Yeah.
Equally, in the last one, I think it was the
Kinect thing.
Yeah, the Xbox Kinect. So you see like an infrared. Or ultraviolet,
which of course was replaced in this one by the like Simon Says toy.
Yeah, right. Great. Okay, doing something interesting with the camera is fine. And I thought having a GoPro, they'd be like, oh, we'll do something interesting with that. But they didn't.
They use it in 2 scenes, and that's it.
And just didn't mention GoPro, basically, because it's a sponsorship. That's annoying. So instead of, the way they break the norm is to have, rather than just the static cameras as like security footage, have a character who's mostly unseen following the main character around and being annoying and like shoving a handheld camera in his face.
Yeah, and then of course he becomes the protagonist by the end.
He does, yeah. But it becomes ridiculous because in order to have a handheld camera in every scene, you either have to have a very good reason or the entire movie is absolutely preposterous.
Yeah.
And obviously, the entire movie is absolutely preposterous because there isn't a good reason to keep filming for most of the time.
No.
I think it seems like a weak attack on a found footage film to say, why don't you just stop filming? Yeah. But this is pretty...
Yeah, it takes the sort of... stretches the credulity of it to breaking point, right? Because there's always like a level of sort of... a level to which that you have to buy into found footage films to get around that why wouldn't you just stop filming thing. But
there's not even an attempt made for this.
It's like they're like, well, we don't have a good excuse, so
fuck you.
I think this one and the previous one, the excuse has just been they are teenagers.
But all they had to do is put early on, say weird stuff's happening, make sure you keep filming because people aren't going to believe this. Then I'll just go like, fine. It's still a bit of a stretch, but at least there's an onus on it.
There was one part which made me think of what could have been a better conceit for the film.
It's interesting you mentioned that because I've got several better films.
Okay, well maybe we'll get to them. But there's a bit where they film his superpowers, and then they put it on YouTube, and all the commenters are saying, "Oh, it's fake bollocks," right? What would have been a better film is you have a couple of YouTubers who, in order to get hits, are like trying more and more like occultish things and accidentally awaken a sort of thing.
But nobody believes them.
Right, that no one believes them, but also they are compelled to keep filming by virtue of the fact that that's how they make their money.
Right,
that's how they make a living. Therefore, you've got a reason for them to carry on filming that works textually.
No, that is a better film. You're correct. Another better film I thought of was, two actually come to mind. One is, there are gang members mentioned and shown in the film. There appears to be the presence of gangs in the area. And I thought it would be interesting to have, say, one of the characters being drawn in by the allure of a gang, only to find out that gang is a devil worshipping cult.
Okay.
So they get like sucked in, and before they know it, they're basically a gang member and also a member of, say, the Midwives. Or whatever it might be. And the gang members' tattoos could be the symbology. And
that's true,
But as it is, you've just got this guy's in a gang so that they can have someone shoot a woman. That's basically it, right? The second better movie I saw in there was the fact that the valedictorian of the high school, his brother is presumably some sort of prominent gang leader. So you've got like that push and pull of like, how did this happen? How did someone who was valedictorian eschew the life of a gangbanger and become entrenched in a cult? That is an interesting story.
More interesting than... Well, you think that's more interesting than 3 kids are already embroiled in a witch cult and they don't realise it, and then the film ends?
Basically, Because you could have him trying not to join the gang and saying, no, I'm not going to join the gang. The brother's like, oh, I don't want this life for you.
Yeah.
And he ends up joining a cult instead. And it's like,
Yeah.
that is a nice parallelism. Like,
Yeah.
that is a good film idea.
Yeah.
Feel free to make that film if you're listening.
Yeah.
And I'll have a production credit or something. But
Yeah.
those are better ideas for films.
Yeah.
I think one of them might be The Lost Boys. I'm not sure.
Well, the other thing as well is that, like, the whole language of the found footage horror stuff by this point has become so tired, specifically within this franchise. Like, how many times do we have to watch a scene where two people are in a room and the camera is either like placed on the ground or something, or looking at something, and then they turn around and their friend is gone. And if it's in the first third of the film, then it's a joke that their friend is playing on them. If it's in the last third of the film, it's a demonically possessed woman.
Yep. Or
Like-
the friend is demonically possessed. Yeah.
Like, it's so tired and cliche by this point.
Yes.
There's just not, it doesn't feel like there's an ounce of creativity that went into it,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
It's pretty spoon-feedy as well.
Yeah.
Like, as much as those things are cliche and you know exactly... It's insulting to have those in the first place, but then to
Yeah.
have them explained to you is like, oh, come on.
Like, every line of dialogue is sort of like, oh, people say she's a witch.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I found this journal. It says, there's a ritual to open up a door through time.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, right, well, that's what the ending of the film's going to be.
Yeah. There was a second, in like one of the earlier scenes, maybe the second, third, he says, oh, my mother died in childbirth.
Yeah.
And you go, okay. And then they meet the gang leader who's got all the like wallpaper of newspaper clippings.
Yeah.
Not explained. She's got that.
No, this is
His brother's house.
Yeah.
Right, okay, forget it then. It is explained.
Yeah.
You got the gang, they go to the gang leader's house
Yeah.
and they're reading the stuff and they say, oh, it says here their mother died in childbirth.
Yeah.
I'd basically turn to camera and would literally turn to camera because it's found footage. It'd be like, that's the same as your mother, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that makes you the same. That means it's going to happen to you. You're like, well, I've been watching the film.
Yeah, I understand the parallelism there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it really does take patience testing hysterical bullshit to all new, never before seen heights.
Is it the worst of the genre? I mean, is it the worst of the franchise?
I think it's the worst of the franchise.
Yeah. Worst of the genre?
Well, the worst found footage film?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not the case.
That we've covered, maybe.
Possibly.
It's pretty ropey.
We've watched some stinkers, haven't we?
Yeah. We haven't done... I mean, we've only started doing found footage basically when we started Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to watch some good ones. They do
There
exist.
must be some good ones, yeah. I think you mentioned earlier that there are 3 Hispanic kids, basically. Latino, Latin American. But they're painted in quite broad strokes. And it might be because I've been watching The Wire recently, rewatching it, that, you get a sense that in these kinds of areas of America, minority, like large minority areas, where there are a gang presence, that, there's an element of poverty as well.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys are like well dressed, they're super smart, they've got GoPros, flat screen TVs. Maybe I'm wrong, but the whole thing felt a bit. The only thing that basically put them in that setting was the fact that they'd occasionally say like, "Dude," instead of like
essay.
Yeah.
I know.
He's in a gang, mate. He's in a gang.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
yeah.
The only thing that tells us he's in a gang is he's got some tattoos and a gun.
Exactly. Yeah. Of course, this is a spin-off from the franchise, Joe. Let's not forget. It's a spin-off from the Paranormal Activity franchise. Is this the least spun-off spin-off you've ever seen?
So who said it's a spin-off?
Well, like officially it is a spin-off.
Is it considered that?
Yeah. That was their, we're taking it all, it's like what you said, taking it in a new direction.
Anyone,
yeah, right. But then it calls itself a spin-off. It's got textual references to Paranormal Activity, Paranormal Activity 2, Paranormal Activity 3. It features characters that have appeared in all of the previous 4 films.
Yeah, and it's bookended by footage from those films.
Yeah, and it has a cameo appearance from the survivor of the second one, and the climax of the film takes place at the climax of Paranormal Activity. Like, the answer to... like the question, how do we reinvigorate this tired franchise, isn't make it as intricately linked to the franchise as possible.
Yeah, it wouldn't exist on its own.
No,
that's not a spin-off.
No, exactly. One thing I realised at the end of this film as well is that all of the films end with a shot that is attempting to ape the final shot of Blair Witch Project.
Okay, yeah.
Right? They, like, without exception, I think they all, like, the camera, maybe two actually.
So in one,
basically,
Katie bum rushes the camera.
yeah,
right?
but all of them end with camera on floor and then, cut, right?
Yeah.
And the reason it doesn't work is because the ending of the Blair Witch Project is so effective because you don't know anything about what's going on.
No.
And all of the information that you're given in the last 5 minutes of that film is terrifying because it's without any context, right?
Yeah.
But
It's surreal. It's surreal.
Right, and it's horrible. Like, it's a horrible image. It's nightmarish to imagine going down into a basement and seeing your best friend, like, staring into a corner like he's a child that's been told off. Yeah. Right? That is a nightmarish image.
Yeah, because
right?
it's like, it's dreamlike, and it's it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And it's not, like, that would never be improved as a scary thing by being told the context of that, right? But every single one of these films ends with a shot that is, like, I think deliberately trying to ape the ending of the Blair Witch Project. Yeah. And then the next film adds to the, like increasingly weighty levels of context for those endings. Yeah. So, like, you can never have that, like, spooky, what did it mean thing? Because the rest of the franchise is dedicated to answering all the questions that you don't need or want answered.
You don't have. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's like that last scene felt like it was saying, put on your VR goggles. We're going to put you in that last scene from Paranormal Activity 1 and you can be in the film. Yeah. And you're like, well, I don't care.
It's borderline insulting, really, isn't it?
Well, I think the whole thing is insult. Yeah. It's an insult.
Speaking of questions and answers, Joe.
Yes.
I believe you've got a few of your own.
I have. So you're a bit of a fan of Paranormal Activity, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. As the last 20 minutes of chat has shown.
Yeah. So you like things that rhyme, don't you?
Yeah.
So let's see how you fare in my quiz. Paranormal snack-tivity.
You know, when I said franchises stretch the content to breaking point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we there?
Yeah, maybe.
So a few questions. It's about food and horror movies.
Okay, all right.
Paranormal snack-tivity.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. There's no multiple choice. Just tell me the answer. If you get it wrong, then you lose. All right.
Okay. What if I get any of them wrong?
Yeah, you lose automatically.
Fine.
In Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
The first one.
Yeah.
John Carter.
Yeah.
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter on Mars on Halloween.
Yeah. In that movie, the character of Annie is caught unawares. Mm-hmm. I think in her underwear, possibly, or in a long t-shirt, because she had to take her trousers off, if you recall.
Okay.
In an accident when she was preparing which food, Chris?
Was it popcorn?
It was popcorn. She got butter on herself from the popcorn.
Remember? I do remember. I remember.
Congratulations.
Because it was that, or the other question you could have asked was, what is one of the characters going to get when he gets murdered? And he's going to get a beer after sex.
After sex. Post-coital beer. Question 2. In Wes Craven's Scream, the character of Casey is killed when she's caught unawares whilst preparing what?
It's popcorn.
It's popcorn. 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Question 3.
Yeah.
In Poltergeist, parapsychologist Marty is caught unawares when he's preparing his dinner. When he's preparing his dinner.
Yeah.
And what food begins crawling along the sideboard?
Is it a chunk of meat?
I'm going to have to ask you to be a little more specific than that, Chris.
Begins crawling along. Is it? I don't know. Is it like red meat? Is it like steak or something?
It's steak.
Nice.
3 for 3. Well done.
Okay.
Question 4. Getting for the drinks round here.
Okay.
What gives everyone a flesh-eating virus in Eli Roth's Cabin Fever?
It's water.
No, mate. Lemonade.
Made with? Lemonade.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've lost already, but let's play on. In 28 Days Later, Frank, while they're exploring a supermarket, Frank picks up a load of what and says, irradiated.
Is it scotch or something?
Nope.
No, hang on. Irradiated. It's like, obviously, it's like processed food. I can't remember what it is, though.
Apples, mate.
Apples. Okay.
No idea why he says it, because I can't remember.
This must be like GM green or something, I don't know.
Final question then. In the original It, the TV movie version, starring Tim Curry, the group are sitting in a Chinese restaurant and are struck by a hallucination which only they can see when what begins crawling around the table?
Spring rolls.
Close. Fortune cookies.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So there you go.
Never mind.
That was Paranormal Snack-tivity.
Very good, very good. I enjoyed that immensely. Yeah. Thank you very much. Well, Joe, I am stuffed, but I've got a little bit more room for my favourite dessert, and that's discussion of how to survive in a film. So please enlighten me.
Do you want the mealy mouth one first, or
go on? Let's get
it
out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's get it out of the way.
Mealy mouth one.
Yeah.
When you're being accosted by thugs.
Yeah.
And you need to escape. Use your bike. Don't go on foot because it's quicker to ride a bike.
Okay.
It's very simple. They're like, oh, I need my bike, and he's like, no, leave the bike, forget the bike. And it's like,
is that after he's knocked them unconscious?
Yeah, they're unconscious anyway. Take the bike.
Yeah, take the bike.
It's a quicker means of conveyance than running on foot.
Would you agree that as the film plays out, that's like the least of his worries?
It is, but in that moment, he didn't know that.
That's true.
Know that. He basically made a value judgment and thought for some reason that running on foot was a more economical use of his energy than riding a push bike.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I can see where you're coming from, for sure.
The reason it's mealy-mouthed is because, like you say, it's a fait accompli anyway.
Yeah.
But it was a fait accompli before the movie started.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're 5 films into the franchise.
Yeah.
I'll grant you it.
What we're watching, by the way, is a movie about people who can do nothing about what's happening to them. And do nothing about what's happening to them.
Yeah. Well, that's not strictly true, Joe. Because there are some people that can do something about what's happening to them, and that's the midwives.
Right. Okay.
So here's my advice to them: don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
And don't run straight towards the gunman screaming. Clearly, that's a terrible idea, and it bears out because the 2 witches that we see running straight towards Arturo get, I would say, comically gunned down.
It must be wire work, right?
Exactly.
They just get pulled out of frame.
Is that how a shotgun actually works?
Definitely not. It would just blow a chunk of your flesh away.
Yeah, it's the classic movie thing of someone getting hit by a shotgun and flying 20 feet backwards. Right?
It's like Wonder Woman just kicked them in the chest.
Yeah, exactly. And they get gunned down immediately.
Yeah.
Just sneak up on him.
Yeah.
It's dark, you're dressed all in black, and you know the area. So it's a much better idea to do.
Or just hide, leave him to it.
Yeah.
Why do you need to run at him?
Yeah.
It's a good point, mate, because when has anyone ever seen someone with a shotgun and gone, hey, I'm over here, run at them, and it's been a good time for them?
Yeah. No one's lived to tell that tale, have they?
No, not that I've heard.
No.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned gunmen.
Okay.
Because it's basically the bodies stack up in that scene, don't they? Up until that point, we've maybe had the grandmother.
Yeah, but although she doesn't die, I don't think. She's in the ICU.
Right. She doesn't have a good time of it.
No.
So maybe the first body we see is in that scene then.
Well, we see Oscar throw himself off the church.
Right.
And obviously Anna.
Yeah. Great. Well, okay, so 2 at that point, and then at the end we got... What's Anna got to do with it, by the way?
He must have realised that she's responsible.
Who is Anna?
Anna, I believe, is the one who's done the ritual or something.
Right.
Because there's a photo of her with Jesse's mother. And so we can...
You can assume she's the one behind it all.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he was going to kill her for what reason?
Because he's realised he's cursed and something's inside him and he blames her.
So he wants to kill her for it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And he's living under a house with
as you would.
Yeah, with pictures of Jesse.
Yeah, and 2 little ghost girls. Don't question it.
Yeah.
Just
so gunmen.
Yeah.
Gunmen, right?
Yeah.
So the 2 gunmen are Arturo and a character who presumably in the cast of this is just called Thug.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who's Arturo's friend.
I didn't even mention him in the recap because he's so immaterial to the story.
But I was struck by him because I wondered what conversation happened in order for him to be there.
Right.
So Arturo must have gone, yo, what up? Soldier, you need to strap up.
Yeah.
We're going on a mission.
Yeah.
And he go, right, who we hitting? He goes, it's a group called the Midwives. Oh, Midwives? Well, they're a gang, are they? No, they're not quite.
Yeah.
Not quite midwife. They're not quite a gang. They are witches. Witches.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So, really? Witches? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like...
Why is he there?
Why is he there? Yeah. My tip is for him, because he dies. Just say, why are we going
But
there?
is it like a gang hierarchy thing? So he has to come along?
No questions, no lies sort of
exactly.
thing. Yeah. Just do as you're told.
Yeah. But maybe in this circumstance. Yeah. No, I take your point.
He doesn't seem like a shrewd... He seems like quite a shrewd person.
Yeah.
You wouldn't mess with him.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wants to be messed with. He looks like he's killed before.
Yeah.
If I was a gangland thug who was happy killing people, I'd want to know everything I could about the mission, about the job.
You'd want to do it smart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
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 And you reckon he doesn't?
No, he doesn't.
No. Yeah.
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 With his Uzi.
Yeah. I mean, my next piece of advice is very much on the same lines of thought, I reckon. And that's wear a helmet while you're sliding down the stairs in a wash basket. Because it's a very silly thing to do, Joe.
Yeah. Traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would be bad, and it would not only ruin your life, but the lives of your friends and family as well.
Is it Jesse who rides the car?
No, it's Hector.
Great. So, yeah.
I mean, he injures himself, doesn't he? He's got a bloodied knee from it. Yeah. So could have been much worse.
Good. It's not good, is it? This movie?
No. Well, my final thought then.
Go on.
It's less a survival idea, I guess, and more of something to mull over, right?
Okay.
Where are the police, right? So when the shootout and all that happens and the full-on massacre, I mean, we don't know how remote the house is, but presumably it's not so remote as to be isolated completely from society because they don't, it doesn't feel like they have to drive very far to get there.
No, we see sirens and stuff. When the murder happens, the police do come.
Yeah, exactly.
And equally, if there's the same scene when they set off that firework.
Yeah. Well, at least 5 people are murdered within a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
In that ending scene, right? There are screams, there are gunshots and all that. And it's directly related to an ongoing murder investigation. So there's no way they'd slip this under the radar.
No.
Okay. So maybe...
Right, I see what you mean. You mean the house at the end.
Yeah. So maybe the next film is going to be about the ensuing legal battle between the state and the coven.
Right.
And like I don't know about you, but that would genuinely be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Like you could have court footage.
Yeah, body cam footage from the police.
Right. You could have the
dash cams.
You could have the like footage that had been submitted as evidence. You could have reporters from outside the court.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But what I have a feeling they're going to do is something weird's going on and look, I've got this state-of-the-art camera.
Yeah, to teenagers probably. Yeah.
And maybe I'll just start recording it. How about that?
So that's Paranormal Activity, the ghost dimension.
Yeah, that's in 10 weeks' time, Joe. You looking forward to it?
No.
Well, if you're looking forward to it, let us know. HowToSurviveShow@gmail.com. Twitter @HowToSurvivePod. Yeah, you can get in touch with us. You can let us know your thoughts and comments.
Yeah, and we have had a couple of emails, Chris. First email, Chris, is about Annihilation, which we covered a few weeks back.
Okay, yeah.
So there are a few spoilers. So if you haven't seen Annihilation and you're saving that, then just skip forward about a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. This comes from Hannah. Hi, guys. Long-time listener, big fan of the show. I had some thoughts on Annihilation. I get what you're saying about self-destruction, but I felt like that was only half of the story. I think there's a lot to be said about personal growth or post-traumatic growth. After this big cataclysmic event, Lena emerges a new person. She's literally a new version of herself. The event, in the shimmer, and the people who helped her through it have become a part of who she is. She is forever changed and a new person, both physically in her DNA and psychologically. So I think it's not just about self-destruction, it's about coming out the other side a changed person. And that comes from Hannah. You were Annihilation scholar, really.
Well, yeah, I'm on the third book now.
Yeah?
Of the trilogy.
Do you agree with what Hannah's saying there?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's very much there to be. That's very much a conclusion that's there to be drawn from it, and I think it's a credit to the film that there are many different interpretations which all feel equally valid, and it's not as if it's not as if Hannah's having to reach for that particularly, and it does like everything that she's saying is there to be backed up by what's in the film. So
it's a good conclusion drawn from
and it makes sense. It makes sense thematically with what the characters are going through as well, like in their personal lives before they even enter the shimmer as well.
Yeah, because they've all gone through some trauma to be there in the first place, basically.
Right? Yeah, and I like the the way that the implication that as they they take on elements from the shimmer.
Yeah,
like that's in the same way as you would
when you come through a trauma.
You take on characteristics of maybe the event itself or like the people who have helped you through it. So
yeah, good reading.
Yeah, very good email. Thanks for
that. Next email comes from Molly.
Hello, Molly.
Hi, Molly. It's quite a long one, so I'm going to abridge it a little bit.
Okay.
Basically, she says, I think Molly's emailed before, I think.
Yes, I think so.
But she says, hey again, it's me again. And she says it's off. How to Survive is her favourite podcast, to be glad to know, Chris.
Very kind of you, Molly. Thank you.
And she's now watched every movie we've covered.
That is patent insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of an odd privilege to have influenced someone's life to the tune of like 200 hours.
Yeah, but that's watching the movies and listening to us talk about them.
Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
She says she even watched Cannibal Shittercost,
right?
And regrets that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but she praises us for talking about things like the egregious gender politics of certain films and not following the common consensus on them, which is something we try to do, I think. Yeah,
I think so. Like, but I think it's just honestly what we think.
It's not.
And if we were down the pub talking about films, that's what we'd be saying anyway. Like, and we do about other films that we don't talk about on the podcast.
Yeah, Paddington 2, egregious gender politics.
Yeah.
Molly does recommend a couple of movies for us to cover.
Okay.
So maybe it adds to the list that we're building. She says Noroi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Noroi, Noroi.
Okay.
The Curse, which is a found footage, which she says is good.
Great.
And an episode on The Wailing, which is apparently the Citizen Kane of horror movies.
Okay. Have
you heard of that?
No.
Okay, we'll check it out.
Yeah, thanks for them.
Yeah, and she wants us to do Nightmare on Elm Street for our next series.
Well, it's coming up to decision time, isn't it? So maybe.
Yeah, well, thanks, Molly. And if you've got any thoughts on a series that we should cover, after Paranormal Activity is wrapped up in 10 weeks' time, do send them in. Molly says Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm personally not convinced. I don't really like it. But I didn't like Paranormal Activity either.
That's stopped us before.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for listening. Once again, the email address is howtosurviveshow@gmail.com, and you can get in touch on Twitter @howtosurvivepod. And if you like what you've heard, then don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes. 5-star review would go a long way to helping us find a wider audience. And thank you very much for listening. Next week, we're going somewhere very special. We're going to a very quiet place indeed.
That's the quiet place.
That's a quiet...
That's a quiet place, not the quiet place. I keep getting it wrong.
Yeah.
John Krasinski directed. New movie, still in cinemas. Go check it out and we'll talk to you about it next week.
Yes. Looking forward to it. And until then...
You're not my best friend anymore. You're not my best friend. Take your podcast. Get out. Maybe your podcast could be your best friend.
It's very hurtful, Joe.